Welcome to this video about electromagnetic astrology. I am Malena and I am one of the creators of Sunring astrology. So today's topic will be about what astrology truly is and about our electromagnetic world. I wasn't interested in astrology at all until I realized that our whole existence is electromagnetic. And that perspective changes not everything, perhaps, but a lot. And it puts astrology in a new light. So I think even if you know a bit or two about astrology, a lot of what we are going to talk about today will probably be new to you. Astrology can be described in many ways. For example, like the world's oldest personal development tool. Astrology describes human archetypes that are so universal that we use them still today. And astrology has inspired the famous psychiatrist and psychologist Carl Jung. I think most of you have heard about him. And astrology can also be used as a method to measure time, not just days, months, years, but long periods, eons even. There is, for example, the astrological age, which is a period about 26,000 years, which you measure by studying the so-called precession of the equinoxes, which you can read a bit about on our website. What astrologers do, or what astrology is also, is to you study the position of the celestial bodies or their movements in relation to each other and the fixed stars. And by doing that, astrology claims to be able to say something about a person when that person is born, which kind of personal traits and characteristics that person will have for the rest of his or her life. And by studying the celestial bodies, astrology also claims to be able to predict events in the future. But then you may ask, okay, so as above, so as below, astrology can say something about our human existence by studying what happens in the sky. But why? What happens at the person's birth to give some sort of imprint that stays with that person for the rest of his or her life? What happened, and why is it the moment of birth important? Why not the moment of conception? Or perhaps a few weeks into pregnancies, the pregnancy. There are spiritual teachings and shamanic teachings that say that a few weeks into pregnancy, the soul will descend down to earth or into the little body. So you could also say, well, why isn't the moment, a few weeks into pregnancy important? And I think we have the answer when looking at the world from an electromagnetic perspective. When I sit here talking to you, or wherever you are sitting, we perceive as we are surrounded by, some thin air, some transparent gases, but pretty much nothing. The truth is that we are totally submerged in an ocean of electromagnetic frequencies. Visible light on the visible light spectrum does not even make up 1% of all the electromagnetic frequencies that we are constantly bombarded. And even if we include frequencies from some that we can hear, and say infrared warmth from the sky, from the sun, that still does not make up 1% of this enormous electromagnetic field that we are submerged into. So most of reality we don't see, we don't notice, we have no clue about what it is. Of course, there are instruments that can measure some things and so on, but we don't know really how it impacts us. Our body will perceive much more than we do with our conscious mind, but still, most of reality is totally filtered out by our senses and our brains. This enormous electromagnetic field that we are submerged into is primarily created by the Earth, magnetism, and radiation from the sun and moon. Those are by far the most important power sources close to us. Astrology, or conventional astrology, dedicate a lot of time studying the planets. But I think from an electromagnetic perspective, they are of minor importance, which you can notice yourself. If you look up in the sky, you see the sun and the moon, they are clearly there. They influence our biological life, rhythms in nature. It is like the life-giving sun, but most people, they have no clue about where Mars or Jupiter is, and they would never, they wouldn't know where they are if they look up in the sky. So Sunring astrology, which is in essence electromagnetic astrology, we focus more on the sun and moon and the electromagnetic field. And as a living organism, we humans and plants and animals, we also have our own electromagnetic fields. This is because we have electrical currents in our bodies. We have electrons are flowing in, just like the blood, electrons are traveling in our bodies. And this means that everything that has an electrical current or electrical charge will create an electromagnetic field around itself. And it can be explained like a toroidal field. You can search images of toroidal fields, and then you will know what it looks like. But you can also call it an aura, for example. And for us humans, this electromagnetic field, toroidal field, aura, whatever you call it, is strongest at the heart. And you can even measure it far out from your body. So in that way, we are all connected electromagnetically with each other and with this immense electromagnetic field that is constantly around us. We will talk more about this, about humans as electromagnetic beings in another video, and you don't want to miss that because that is super interesting. But suffice it for now that we have our own electromagnetic fields. At the same time, we are submerged in this enormous electromagnetic field. And this, I think, explains why the moment of birth is important. Because before you are born, you're not just enveloped by your mother's womb, you're also enveloped by her electromagnetic field. But the moment you are born, you don't come out in emptiness or in some sort of vacuum or thin air. You come out you're totally blasted by this electromagnetic field that will be time and place specific. So you will be blasted by very specific energy. It will be unique to you. And since humans are also fractal antennas, which we will talk about in the other video that I mentioned, we will in some way be able to take in or receive all of this information or electromagnetic frequencies that we are exposed to when we are born. And as astrology teaches, even if it doesn't explain why, that impact will leave a lasting impression on you. So when you are happy, harmonious, true to yourself, feel joy and love, you will shine that energy to the world and share with others via our auras and electromagnetic fields. But if you feel worry, anger, irritation, frustration, all these negative feelings, that will diminish your own light and make your energy more incoherent and chaotic. The body, the cells, love coherence. So even also your health is, of course, negatively influenced if you feel frustration, anger, and so on. And you know, they have measured energy from your heart, or the electromagnetic frequencies from your heart. You can measure changes in people when they feel anger, frustration, and then when they feel love. So it doesn't mean that we shouldn't feel anger or resentfulness, or I mean, those negative feelings are also natural for us, but we shouldn't hang on to them, and we need to let them go. And most of the time, feel happiness, joy, harmony, and so on, because then it's also what we spread to the world, and what you could say the collective human consciousness. So, this is why we believe in Sunring astrology, why the moment of birth is important, and why astrology can accurately describe human characteristics by studying primarily the sun and the moon and the electromagnetic field. As I mentioned, I don't think, I mean, the planets are important as well, but if you include the planets and their exact relationships, for example, if they are on the opposite side of the sky, or if they are next to each other, or 30 degrees or 60 degrees between each other, or 45 degrees, and then if you add Arabic parts and astrological houses and comets and asteroids and the nodes of the moon, well, the birth chart will be so cluttered with information, it will be very difficult to analyze. And instead, if we look at the most important factors, the sun, the moon, and the electrical field, you will get a basic understanding of who you are. And of course, you can turn to experts like therapists and astrologists and so on. But I think there will be a stage in most people's lives when they want to know, when they ask themselves, who am I? Who am I really? We adapt to our surroundings. We try to live up to others' expectations. We try to live up to our own expectations, conform to society's norms. And after a while, it's like we create this artificial persona that aren't really us. And we start to identify with that persona. But then that artificial persona is not who we really are. And I believe astrology, or that is the aim of Sunring astrology, to help people find their way back home to themselves. Doing that is, of course, difficult if you don't have a guide or a map, and that is what we want to provide you with. By understanding the sun and the moon and the electromagnetic field at your time of birth, you will get a pretty good understanding of who you are, and then you can study that for the rest of your life, because you can dig even deeper and deeper into who you are, what's the purpose of your life here, and what are you supposed to do here. But it all starts with understanding yourself. And the astrology, conventional astrology, also emphasizes the importance of the sun and the moon. Then what we call the sun ring, it's actually points in the sky that are also used in astrology, but we use them in a slightly different way, and we interpret these points slightly differently than conventional astrology. And that is why we call it the sun ring. And you can read more about the sun ring on our website, but you can also continue watching videos, because we're going to go through the zodiac and the sun ring in later videos. But well, The next video I would recommend you to watch is the video about humans as electromagnetic beings. I think that will provide you with a lot of new and interesting information. It will be more science-based, but it's not science you hear from TV. It will be quite new to you or to most people, I expect. So this was all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you continue watching more of Sunring Astrology videos. Thank you.